Hello, hello. Welcome. I'm just taking a look at everything, and it looks, something's going on. It looks like I'm dropping a ton of frames, so I'm curious what's going on there. Let me just double check everything. If you are in the chat and you are watching, oh no. I have it on my phone here just so I can double check. It actually looks good on my end, so I'm curious. Maybe not. Anyway, if you're here, let me know if it's dropping too many frames. I might have to... I don't know. I don't know what I would do in this situation. Stop the stream? Maybe? Let me... You know, this is exactly what I should have checked before going live, but here we are. Honestly, it looks okay on my end for the most part. I'm not going to be going crazy, so if there are any drop frames, hopefully you're still at least getting the gist of what I'm doing. Anyway, after that minute of intro, welcome. Happy almost New Year, or depending on where you are, Happy New Year. I'm really excited for this stream. This is something that I have been planning for a few weeks. Yeah, it's like really choppy. I'm upset about it. Anyway. Okay. Stop streaming? I don't want to stop streaming. I just want to... All right, just give me a moment because I want to just see what's going on. Settings? No. Wow, I've gone live a few times and I haven't dropped frames like this, so I don't really know what is going on. My CPU usage is not bad. Honestly, it might just be like my Wi-Fi. So I'm going to maybe turn off Wi-Fi, but I am plugged into Ethernet. So network, Ethernet connected. Dang, I am really upset. This is not how I wanted to start the stream. Oh, that was wild. My CPU usage went to like 14,000% for a split second. I have no clue what's going on. But all right. I guess I'm just gonna ignore this because it doesn't seem like it's terrible, but oh, that's super, super frustrating. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, so I've been really excited to do this live stream because, one, I really want to recenter my goals myself, heading into 2025. If you've seen my past, some of my past videos, it's been very centered around like reflection and just kind of like looking back at just my own career and, you know, perception of what it means to be a composer, definition of a composer. And, you know, so a lot of what I want to talk about today is going to be focused on keeping that in mind heading into 2025. And this stream is, we're going to basically, it's going to be an over the shoulder look of me planning out, you know, my next quarter. I want to do a little bit of reflection of 2024, the good and the bad. And I kind of want to show off just like the tool that I'm using to do this all. Let me just show you. So, for those of you who don't know, this is my Notion template. This is my everything. I have built this. This was basically what I started building at the end of 2023. And how do I put this? I am someone who's obsessed with systems. I get overly obsessed with systems, and I can tend to like overcomplicate things. But I recently went and I looked at this, and I don't think I appreciated just how much this has helped me throughout the year. Even though I might have gone crazy in building it, like it is massive, but like ultimately it is such an important part of what I do and why I want to be able to properly goal set. If you take a look, basically this is like just the goal and habits page. And this is my personal one. I recently updated the one that is like available for people. It's just the Maestro Mind Accelerator. So this is the one that I offer, right? But like, because I made so many updates, I just kind of started fresh and created my own from scratch. And basically it's pretty empty right now because I haven't transferred anything over. But basically this is like, you know, track your projects and areas and resources of your life and goals and habits, which we'll focus on today. You know, different pages and buttons. So if you are interested, a link for this is in the description, and it's great for a lot of like composer stuff, music. Like the Sandbox page is really helpful. Just link articles and videos that personally I like, music to work to. Oh no, I'll have to change that. Yeah, this thing is like fantastic and I love it, and it's what I want to use for a lot of my goal stuff and like journaling and things like that. So let's just kind of break down like what this is, because really we're just going to focus on goal planning for 2025. And to start off, like one of the greatest quotes that I've seen is from James Clear, greatest in terms of just like goal setting. But basically you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And that means a lot for me personally, because I've taken my Composer Strengths Explorer, like the composer quiz that I offer, and one of my strengths is systems, but it's also one of my downfalls because I hyper optimize. But it's how I like to work. It makes me feel very structured when I can work within systems. But the problem with goal setting, especially around the new year, that a lot of, you know, we go through this every single year, I see it every single year, is that people set goals, but they're almost just making a list of things they want to do, but they're not developing the systems to implement them. And that is something I just wanted to keep like front and center, basically, front and left. And so the system that I have here is heavily inspired by Ali Abdaal, who is a productivity expert. That's what people call him. He doesn't refer to himself as that really, but he is. And basically what I want to do is kind of first, before I go ahead and create any goals, is reflect on 2024. I want to maybe come up with a list of long-term goals. Quarterly Odysseys are basically just quarterly goals, but I like the idea of Odyssey because that fits the brand a little bit more. If you're familiar with my Composer Odyssey newsletter or Composer Odyssey blog or whatever, weekly reviews are kind of a subset to help me stay on track of my quarterly Odysseys. My daily focus is a smaller section to keep me focused every day. And then side quests are directly from Ali Abdaal. And basically these are like your side goals, your not so important goals, the goals that are nice to do, but they aren't necessarily related to your long-term goals. So this is like a super structured system, but I love that, you know, like I can set my long-term vision, but I can also work daily and weekly and really get granular about this process. And you also don't have to, if you do end up getting this, like the template, you don't have to do one versus another or everything. You can stick to whatever you want, but this is what's really helpful for me. So what I'm going to do is open up the 2024 review and we'll kind of go through it. I don't know how much will actually get done because this can be a little bit, you know, a little long. So maybe I'll do some things and maybe just talk about some others, but we'll see. Basically, welcome to your yearly review. Before you start creating your new goals and habits heading into the new year, it's important to reflect on the key moments from this past year. So I want to start with step one, and this is my highlight reel. Basically, I want to go month by month, and this is actually something that I did, part of a workshop that I was part of, and I never really went month by month before and listed out the good, the bad. But when I did this, I actually have some that I pre-wrote, so I don't have to like come up on the spot, but I didn't realize how much has happened in this past year. So John, hello, Happy New Year. I forget that to me you live in the future. So yeah, Happy New Year from Tokyo. And let me put that up on the screen for everybody. John, I want to say thank you for stopping by and being a really good active member in the community, because you know, it always means a lot seeing you interact and stuff. It definitely means a lot. So Happy New Year. I hope you're enjoying. So yeah, so let me just start off. Basically what we have here is January. You open up the toggle, and what are some things that happened in January? In 2024, if you have seen the channel, you might know that I'm part of the Music Mastermind with Zach Heidi, Cheska Navarro, and Orly. How do you pronounce her last? Kuble. It's not Kabul. It's Kub. She's French, and I want to make sure I get it right, so I'm going to have to ask her after the stream. Orly, if you're here, let me know. So what was... Yeah, so we created the Music Mastermind. That was probably one of the biggest achievements of the year, because that is... We'll get into it as we go on with the months, but... let's see. What else? I started pivoting my channel from, you know, just walkthroughs to more about like career related stuff and just whatever I wanted the channel to be, and not just, you know, sample libraries and stuff. Zach, you're here. Wow, I wasn't expecting you. I saw on Instagram that you were in a forest in the woods, so I wasn't expecting you to be here. Welcome, man. Zach, if you remember how to pronounce Orly's last name, I remember us having this conversation, so now I feel embarrassed. But anyway, and then January was also, a high of highs, but also a very low month because I lost my uncle. So, but that was at the end of January, so it was a real rough start to the year. But at the same time, it was fantastic. So that was January. Let's go February. What did I put? So again, to kind of go off of that, we had the funeral, which was a very sad moment, but I did get to see a lot of family then. Let's see. Yeah, we did the funeral. My mom does a lot of Reiki and stuff. She's very into healing, and she was part of this like grand opening of a center near her house, and that was really cool. I don't know how to spell words sometimes. Grand opening, and that was really cool to celebrate her, and especially because that was a hard moment for her, so it was nice kind of showing up with flowers, and the mayor did a ribbon cutting ceremony, so that was really cool. Yep, okay. Zach, you are still in the desert, okay, and wanted to pop in and wish you a happy new year. Yeah, happy new year, man. Thank you so much. I don't know if you're stopping by or hanging around, but whatever. Thank you for coming by. Let's see. March was a birthday month. I turned 29, which is crazy because in just a few months I turned 30, and that's gross. Let's see. But also, so let's say birthday, that's not how you spell birthday. I also went and visited some friends, and we went out for St. Patrick's Day, and that was really cool because it was around my birthday, so it was kind of like a double celebration. Let's go to April. What did I do? Oh, that's when I went to my very first solo Mets game. And that really meant a lot because I was definitely missing my dad at that point, big Mets fan, and I decided that I am not going to wait for people to want to go with me. I was just going to look up tickets and just go by myself, and I live like pretty far away from there. So it was just like a nice outing treat for myself to, just drive over an hour, go there, just be in the stadium, and just take it all in. So that meant a lot. Welcome to the 30 plus club. Yeah, man, it is, John. It is, I don't know. I'm excited for it, honestly, but it's going to be weird because I'm so used to just being in my 20s, but I don't know. And then speaking of doing solo trips, I actually went and traveled to Vegas, cross country for me, by myself for a conference, the Grow with Video Live conference. And that was crazy. Like, I didn't know anybody at this conference. I traveled for the first time like that far by myself. I booked a hotel, all these things, and I treated myself. I knew I wanted to go to this conference for a few years. This is all about YouTube creation, video creation, and kind of like, making sure that you are prepped, or not prepped, but making sure that you approach content creation in the right way. That's not exactly what I'm trying to say, but it meant a lot to be surrounded by other like-minded like creators, and get to learn about everybody's interests, because there were people that were doing YouTube as like hardware, people that were doing real estate, people that were also musicians. It was really, really cool. That was a fun experience. Let me keep everything open. Let's see, what was May? May was a little bit, like, in terms of like events, it wasn't as like eventful, but this was where I fully developed this planner, this accelerator. It's actually where I changed, because it used to be the Maestro Mind planner, but I think I was actually talking to Zach, and he said, like, man, this is not really a planner anymore. Like, you actually, Zach, you used like a phrase that like I absolutely stuck with, and it was like a self-paced like productivity system type of thing, because like it goes beyond just, you know, a calendar, a planner. It goes into like areas of life, notes, you know, habit tracking, contacts, like all this stuff. So, you know, I'll say develop the MMA to what it is now, plus some updates. I developed, before I used to do the quiz that I offer was the Composer Odyssey Index. And it was going through a lot of like stages and changes, but I developed it into the Composer Strengths Explorer. And that really, I focused a lot of energy on developing what's considered composer strengths. And I love that. And I love that idea of our inherent strengths and kind of like recognizing that within ourselves. And before I move on, I just want to give a shout out to Francisco. Hello, welcome. I'm glad you could make it. And I want to say thank you again for just your email and, you know, of course, the coffees. That was beyond kind. It really meant a lot, and it was like a nice way to end 2024. So welcome and thank you. Let's see. There was one more thing I did in May, right? Basically just that, like, I felt really rejuvenated with my content. I put out a lot of videos at that point, which didn't do well in terms of analytics, but like they were probably like some of the really fun ones. Like I came up with the Composer, the Composer XYZ formula. And that was just like, I forgot what it was already, but basically like I help X achieve Y by doing Z. And like, you know, it's not necessarily like a new out of this world concept, but putting it in a framework that like makes sense for, you know, composers or anybody really trying to reach out and branch out. It's as simple as like, I help X, the person I'm trying to help, achieve Y, their dream outcome, by doing Z, the thing I'm specifically good at. And that was really cool. That was in May. June, I traveled to friend's house for day trip. That's not how you spell for. It's fine. I don't care. I got to, this is such a random one, but I watched my mom's dog for a week, and we don't have a dog in the apartment, and I want one so bad, and that meant a lot. It just was a nice week, you know. I love my dog, and she's very old, so I want to enjoy all that time while I can. We also had a wedding in June, but then we also had another wedding in July, like a week later, or, you know, maybe a few weeks later. No, wedding in August? No, we had a second wedding in August, but we had in July the bachelor party for the August wedding, which was a ton of fun. Me and my friend put that together for the groom, and that was an incredible weekend trip. My mom's birthday, that was a milestone birthday for her, so that was really big because we put on this like massive party at the house, and I know she really appreciated it. We did July 4th at the same friend that I traveled to for the day trip. What else? I did a Maine weekend trip. We have some family there, and that was a lot of fun. The bachelor party related to the Maine trip because we were in the same area. August really was that wedding. That was like the biggest thing. What else did I do? September, we did some apple picking, and that was, let me tell you, where I live, like the mountains, orchards, they are basically in my backyard. Like, I'm so lucky and to live in this area, even though I've been here forever. Like, so, you know, it kind of, I can forget about the views that I have, just like everything that's going on in town. But like, especially during the fall, it really is incredible. And I'm just very lucky. I just have to remember that sometimes. September, I also did another wedding in Lake George. So that was a lot of fun. October, this is a big one. And Zach, if you're still here, I don't know, but basically, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if 1106. That can't be right. Oh no, has my screen been frozen this entire time? And I've just been writing and none of it has been updating? That is incredibly... Wow, that is incredibly frustrating. Okay, so that's me. Hello, everybody. All right. Think. We're going to Mac OS. Wow. So it's been frozen this entire time? All right. We're going to double check the Mac. We're going to do... I don't know, application capture? And maybe I'll do Notion? Okay. That might be more updated. Oh man, I am so upset. No. John, honestly, thank you for letting me know, because I wouldn't have even picked up on that. And because like I have the OBS, like the capture on the side, but it's small enough that like I can't really tell if it's frozen. But I switched over from display capture, like just window, to application. So like now it's capturing just Notion. Yeah, there's something that was going on with my computer, and I'm sure it just like messed things up. Anyway, man, okay, so at least like now you can actually see what I'm working on. That's so weird. 1106, because I had this up, you know, before I started everything. Wow, an hour later. Okay, so yeah, you can take a look at the toggles that I'm doing. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, what was I gonna do? Because now I do want to show off just like what the goal page looks like, because I think it is pretty awesome. We're on October now. Oh, I want to hide that because that's a fun one. October. So yeah, I have to get back in the flow. Think. October was when we did the music mastermind trip to Montana. That was huge. That might have been like the highlight of the year. that was, we finally met up. It was Zach, Cheska, Orly, me, and our partners. And we all decided that, hey, a couple of strangers on the internet that met this year, we are going to meet up in person for a weekend. And it could have gone very well or very poorly. And, you know, it was just like a fantastic trip. You know, it was a work trip, but it was also a fun trip, you know? Wow. I look back at those memories and look back at the photos and I'm like, oh man, that was a lot of fun. So I hope we get to do that, something similar soon. And then, side note, I also went to Angry Orchard. So, if you are familiar with the cider brand, that their location, like their main location is relatively close by, maybe less than an hour away. And I did that with my cousins, and that was a lot of fun. November, what did I do? I went to go see Swept Away. Come on. In NYC. And that was a fantastic Broadway musical that it opened maybe like in October, maybe. I don't remember when exactly. No, actually, no. I went to a pre-showing, like one of those before it officially opens in November. It closed this past week. I'm so mad because it just wasn't getting the... Hold on, I just switched over because I feel like the music got weirdly loud. Actually, I forgot music was on because it was very quiet. Yeah, Swept Away closed, and it was just really frustrating because it was a fantastic musical based on the Avett Brothers, the band, and their music, and they created a musical around that, and it was so good, and I'm so mad that it's closing just because it didn't perform as expected, but like now all the shows were sold out, so, you know, maybe bring it back. What else did I do? I started collecting Pokemon cards. That was very big for me. And we hosted Thanksgiving for the family. And we have a relatively small apartment, but it's enough to fit like a good size small family. And it was really nice because I got to make my turkey that I love. That was November. And then December, we did... Yeah, John, it really sucks when a show doesn't do well because it was fantastic. Truly. And then in December... Come on. What did I do? Juan Soto goes to the Mets. Goes to the New York Mets. That was huge. He... got like the biggest contract in baseball if you follow baseball. It was wild, and the Mets are really gunning for a World Series championship. I went to the basketball game, the college basketball game, which was a lot of fun, and we did our 14th annual Secret Santa with my friends. 14 years. It's crazy. Yeah, so believe it or not, that is like, it feels really good to like look back and just reflect on all the things I did this year. I'm sure there's more that I missed, but like when I actually went back and thought of this, I was like, oh, I forgot about that. I looked back at pictures and like, oh yeah, I did that. Really, really awesome. Step 2 is going to be what projects made you proud? What didn't go as planned and what did you learn? Highlight any gigs, collaborations, or commissions you landed. Were there any moments or projects that felt most meaningful? This isn't necessarily like, if you saw the video, I haven't taken on composing work in all of 2024. And that's really what I would like to change. So, you know, I'm a bit, I don't know how to even put this. Like, I'm just sad that I kind of removed myself from music, but I'm excited to embrace it again, heading into the new year. But I did do the ThinkSpace education, orchestral composition boot camp, but you get the gist. And that was, we technically started it in October of last year, 2023. But this year, we really, we kind of did a winter intake. We did the summer, we did the fall. So we kind of went through 3 different intakes, and, we tried to adjust and grow and listen to the feedback. And it just meant a lot. One, being part of this as a project that I was considered, it really meant a lot connecting with the staff, Guy Mitchellmore, we got Chuck and Emily, we got Jake. So these are all people that just are part of the staff, and I love connecting with them. Very, very, masters of the craft type of people, and I love it. But also the students. The amount of students I've gotten to connect with over the past year and change, it's unbelievable. It's well over 100 students at this point, but maybe closer to 200. I don't know. But like, I get to hear where everyone's at. I get to hear music that is incredibly inspiring. I get to hear music that starts off as like a simple theme and get fully developed into an orchestral mock-up. Like, it is unbelievable that I get this opportunity, and I get to talk them through their struggles, and I get to actually give some input. I feel like I learn a lot, even as an instructor, from that experience. So just to keep things moving along, I'm not gonna go too into it, but like, the ThinkSpace Bootcamp was massive for me this year. It really meant a lot. Next up is and yes, Francisco, you were part of the bootcamp, and you mentioned that you were in like the summer intake, which was, I can't believe that was a few months back. That's wild. But yeah, that's how I know you from the boot camp. So, it's actually really cool that I get to be part of that, because then I get to connect with a ton of different people that I don't know if I would have otherwise. So I'm very grateful for that. The next thing, step 3, this is actually, if you were to get this, and if you were to use the template to its fullest extent, come next year, this number should look something more like 365. This is a daily focus reflection chart. If you don't know, let me go up. This is a great time to show off the Notion template again. For those who don't know, this is my Maestro Mind Accelerator Notion template. And basically, it is just like this massive behemoth of a template. It's wild. So this is like the home page. You can manage your tasks and projects, areas of resources. The reason why it looks so empty is because I recently just reduplicated and updated some things. So that's why this is my personal one, but it does look a little bit empty. Daily focus. So every day, a new template at today daily focus is duplicated, repeats daily, and basically this is your daily journal. And I promise this will make sense in just a second. Let's open this up real quick. You'll see that I have some properties, some areas of life that you can check every day. Today I did something professional. Today I did something creative. Today I did something social and healthy and mindset wise and fun. This is technically today, December 31st. I would consider this professional. I am not necessarily doing anything creative today. Social, I'm seeing my friends because I'm hosting New Year's Eve. Health, it's that sounds like a January 1st problem. Mindset, I think this is also considered mindset. And fun, I'm gonna say, correlates with social. So, 4 out of 6 areas of life, right? I also filled this out today. I logged my time. So literally it took me 9 minutes to complete this morning. What was the big thing I was doing today? What can I do to have some fun? Are you going to seek companions or mentors? Any side, so these are like side tasks: cleaning the apartment, prepping food and drinks. If there's time, keep updating the Notion template. Is there anything I can delegate or postpone? Honestly, not really, because I knew I was doing this today. Did I review my task list? Yes, I did. What am I feeling emotionally? I'm honestly very excited. I'm excited to be live. I'm excited to see friends later. And what can I do tomorrow? Honestly, I'm probably going to work on more Notion template stuff, but I also want to make time for video games. I'm not really a video game person. And I think it's important for me to literally do fun things that aren't work related, that aren't even music related. I love music, but I need time for other hobbies. And I have all these games that I always get and never play because I'm always like, well, I could be working. So I would like to make some time for playing some video games. Anyway, the point of why I'm showing you this is because these focus areas of life, you can check them off, and then we go back to goals and habits. We'll go back to my 2024 review. And of the past 2 days since I duplicated this template, I have a total of 2 daily focus pages, and the professional one, I did basically 100%. I was professional both days. Creatively, I guess today I was not doing anything creative. Yesterday I was. Social, same thing. No social yesterday, social today. And basically, come a year from now, it's going to show you roughly 360 to 65 days, and that's going to show you how much you were doing stuff that was healthy versus the days that you didn't check off were healthy, or how many of the days you checked off were you did something fun versus how much you didn't have fun. I think this is going to be a super cool feature a year from now, because it will show you maybe you're going to look back at the year a little bit more realistically. Maybe if you didn't have something like this, you might say, oh, well, I think I was pretty healthy this year, when in fact, maybe you might not have been because you checked off daily. So we'll see what that looks like in a year, but it also is a reason for you to check it off, because it kind of gives you a little, something to look forward to by next year. Let's see, I have to reword this, but what can you take away from your percentages? In which areas did you excel? Where could you improve? Are you surprised by your results? This, I just duplicated, so I'm not really gonna be able to answer this efficiently. But if I had to look back, just, remember, I think I really focused. Come on, you can type. Focused on work a lot. Creatively, I don't think I was very creative. Not so creative. Social, I would say I was all right. I'm not gonna, because I don't feel like I actually have enough data, but socially, I think I was pretty social. I feel like I branched out a lot more. My health, I think there's a difference between being healthy in relation to your weight. I'm not happy with the weight, but I think I was more willing to work out and feel better about myself in comparison to other times where I will go months and months and months without doing any kind of workout. But for some reason, it's, the weight still catches on. So it's kind of a mixed bag for me. Mindset, I think I was really, really focused on mindset this year, more so than in the past. And fun, I'm trying to think outside of music, outside of like the nerdy stuff, like literal like work admin that I think is fun that really isn't fun. I want to do better. Like I said, I want to do more video games. I want to be able to like sit down and just be like, all right, time to watch TV or play a game and not even think about work. So that's kind of where I'm at there. And then step 4 is write a letter to yourself. I'm not going to do this in real time again because I want to make sure we get moving. But I did actually do this a few days ago. So I'll kind of read it and then maybe on my own time I'll copy this in or something. But basically, take a moment to write a letter to your future self a year from now. You know, this person is going to read this letter in the next annual review, and you can always access your reviews through this link. So if you want to check previous years, you can do that here. Share your goals, aspirations, predictions about your life, your career. What do you hope to have accomplished? Any questions you want to ask yourself? Any advice you can give yourself? Yeah. So this, I think, is like, I think it's easy to kind of brush off this type of assignment, but honestly, once I actually started writing, it made a lot more sense. And I was like, oh, I almost can give myself advice. Like it was really enlightening. But basically what I said in the letter was, you know, I'm trying to think of all the progress I could make in the upcoming year. I'm nervous because, you know, I've tried to set goals in the past, but sometimes I fall short on them. So hopefully throughout the year, I want to stick to my developed systems as opposed to the idea of a goal. And that's huge. If you saw the quote that I made, it's not on this page, it's on the other page, but it's we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. You know, I hope you've been able to reflect on 2024. I also hope you've made steps to move beyond this year's shortcomings. I want you to have the success we've been dreaming of. I hope that the success is clearly defined. I hope you're exceeding expectations set for the year. And I know that I'm asking a lot of you, but I also know that you have the capability to do it. I just don't want you to forget the things that really matter. I hope you're using your time wisely because we both know that time is probably one of our biggest motivators. I hope you I hope you have found work that feels right. I hope that you develop stronger relationships with the people who inspire you, and I hope that you can look back at this year and feel proud of what you've accomplished. Though I may be a year less experienced, if I can offer a bit of advice, remember your why. It's easier said than done, but truly that is what makes me feel driven to do the things that matter. Don't forget about why you're doing the things that you're doing. And that was my letter to self. I think, you know, relatively short, maybe a couple paragraphs, but it kind of opened up my eyes, and I'm excited for future me to look back at that year, and hopefully I actually accomplished some of the things that I said I wanted to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that's done. We're going to go back to our goals and habits page, and that can live there. And next year, what I'll do is I'll create a new one. Oh, it's time for a yearly review, and I'll say that is 2025, you know? Long-term goals. This is basically, because my screen was frozen, this is the goals and habits page. We're focusing really on goal planning today. But you'll see that this is a massive template with a million different pages, but this is like, I'm telling you, this is the thing that is keeping me going. Like, I feel so much more motivated and level-headed with this, because I made it for me as a composer, as someone who's trying to be productive, but I'm sharing it, you know, like it doesn't make sense for me to make something for me and then something else or totally different for somebody else. Like I'm excited to share this. So if you want it, the link is in the description. My long-term goals, my quarterly odysseys, so basically quarterly goals, weekly reviews, daily focus, which is what we also looked at today. So even though this is goal planning, we also have the dedicated page here. And then side quests are like your not so important goals. Long-term goals. This I'm thinking is more like, so you know what? Let me just start up a new page. Long-term goals are, in that view, are going to be more like a vision board type thing. Like these are going to be very abstract, very long-term could mean something different for you than it does for me. Like personally, I'm thinking like 5-10 years, things that are, dream outcomes, the big picture. These are the goals that define success for you, aspirations you're working towards over the course of your life or career. These goals are your guiding compass. Yeah, John, I think you do have it, right? It's totally different from when I think you got access. So I recommend just starting fresh, start with because it is updated. And I'm continuing to update, but updates are free for whoever purchases. But yeah, you should have access to that. Anyway, so these are kind of like your guiding compass, giving you direction, clarity about where you want to go. These are abstract, broad, often future focused. So even this example might be a little too narrow, maybe a little too short distance, but like compose a film score for a major studio, start my own production company. While they aren't actionable on a day-to-day basis, they inform all other types of goals. So revisit them during reviews to make sure that everything else, like it's like a funnel, that's the top of funnel. Everything else kind of falls in line with that. Awesome, just updated. Yeah, you might honestly see that I'm gonna keep making some updates. So don't be surprised, but yeah, I'll let you know when I'm kind of done with this round of updates. So what I'm going to do instead of being on this page is like, I don't think I would actually fill out priority, like maybe high priority. Let's say this is, I have to think long-term when I'm, it's not just about one single goal. It's about more the feeling. I want to have the time to make decisions. I don't know if that's the right. I want to have the time to make decisions that are best for me. Right. So like that's a very abstract goal, but basically what this means is I want to have time for myself. I don't want to feel restricted by like a 9-to-5 job. I don't want to take on projects that aren't right for me. So it kind of falls under this umbrella goal. Like I want to be able to have the authority and I'm blanking on the words here, but I want to basically do the things that I want to do is essentially it. There is no year for that, like I'm not going to fill in quarter or year. There's no accomplished date. One cool thing though about time left, let's say there was an accomplished date. There's a formula here that gives you how much time you have until that. So, and then Notion has updated. So now you can hide properties into like a sidebar. You can relate if this relates to another goal, if this relates to a certain area of life, milestone, habits, projects, and if you want to archive this. Maybe it's not achieved, but you're like, you know what? I don't need this anymore. Let me archive. And what I actually want to do is show you. So I'm going to create like a gallery view. So what else do I want? I want to be composing for projects, come on, you can spell that, mean that are fulfilling. So I actively want to work on projects that are fulfilling for me. Write music for myself. No, that's more short term. Let's say feel confident in my music, networking, abilities as a composer. So notice that these aren't necessarily like specific or tangible, but they are long term, right? I want to feel financially free, financial freedom, that kind of thing. So I want to be able to be making money from the things that mean something to me. I don't want to feel limited. I want to be able to go on the trips that I want to go on to because it just is something that is available to me. So what does that mean? That is something we'll worry about later. But basically, so like I could keep going. These are long-term goals. Let's focus on quarterly goals now. And this is probably my favorite type of goal, because it's short enough that I can get it done relatively soon. So let me actually just show you what the page looks like. This is probably like where you're gonna fill out most of your goal information, but quarterly goals are your most actionable and most important goals. They bridge, or quarterly odysseys, they bridge the gap between your long-term vision and your day-to-day efforts. They're designed to give you focus and momentum in 90-day chunks. I recommend limiting yourself to only 2 to 3 quarterly odysseys at a time to avoid any overwhelm. This way you can maintain your focus. These goals should be specific, measurable, and actively contribute to your long-term goals. So for example, if your long-term goal was to compose a film score for a major studio, maybe your quarterly odyssey is complete and pitch a demo reel for 5 film directors this quarter. In the template that's like available, you're gonna see that one of the long-term goal was compose a score for Pixar, one day, a dream goal. Maybe your quarterly goal, this, like in the next 3 months, maybe you can get started by just landing an animation gig, not even having the gig be done, but in 3 months, can you actively work towards landing that gig? This is the main page, but let me go back to mine. Let me close you. Let me go back here. Where are we? Yeah, so let's say Quarterly Odyssey. And this is honestly what the whole point of this live stream was going to be about, but I want to... What do I want to do? I want to come up with a plan to land composing work in 2025. So I think this quarter, I'm going to land a scoring gig. Come on, spell correctly. Scoring gig for a project that inspires me. Right? It's been a very long time since I've worked on music for a project, and I miss it very, very much. I think that this can probably relate to, let me open up the sidebar, related goals. I always press new. Don't do that if you're just using this. I keep thinking that this means like relate, but it literally creates a new goal, so I'm gonna have to delete that. You want to search. So that was my Quarterly Odyssey. Which one does this best relate to? Financially free, feel confident in my music, composing for projects that are fulfilling. That seems like the most relatable goal. This is going to be an area. I only have 2 right now, but yeah, music and education areas. So that's going to be a music area. I don't have any milestones yet, although I could make some habits. I'm updating these probably in the next few weeks, so that might look different, but milestones and habits are big. Projects, that's a later thing. I don't have to worry about that yet. All right, so let's take a look. Priority, I think this is going to be a high priority. This is 2025. And because it's a quarterly goal, so January, February, March is the quarter. Accomplish date. Because it's a quarterly goal, these are typically going to be the 1st of January, April, July, October. And, that's probably not going to change unless you're going quarterly off, separated from the calendar. But I'm going to say April 1st, right? I'm going to say remind that I want this done. And it says how much time is left? 12 weeks. I love that formula. It's a very intense formula. And I think those are all the properties. It's not achieved yet, so I won't check that. Those are all the properties. So let's get this going. This is the most important goal for me. I think this is very, very specific. First, you should know that goals, this is also very much inspired by Ali Abdaal's just quarterly quest. I kind of updated it a little bit to be more music focused and kind of adventurous, but there are 3 sections: destination, path, and route. So define your goal for the quarter, map out your route, and what is your execution plan. So first up, let's start with destination. What's the vision? What is the ultimate vision for this quarter? Describe the ideal end state in vivid detail. I want to have landed my first gig in over a year. I will be actively putting myself out there for work, making connections through YouTube is my biggest, I think, channel. Not YouTube channel, but like channel of means of communication. But also Instagram, other social media. So I'll just say other socials. The ultimate vision, I will be paid fairly for the work that I'm doing, and feeling confident in my abilities. So I don't want to, like cave or, go back on my morals, or like I know what my time is worth, and I want to stick to that, and I want to work and find people that understand that as well. Yeah. And I think that is for this goal, that is a really good vision for this quarter. I think that lends itself very well. Impact is, what broader impact will achieving this goal have on your personal or professional life? Consider both tangible and intangible benefits. I think by doing this, I will feel much more confident in my abilities. I will be taking on imposter syndrome in a new way, in a way that I haven't done in the past. If you saw my last video, one of the quotes I loved was like not to try and beat imposter syndrome, but to like work with it. I have to double check that quote, but basically you're not you're using it as a way to help you move forward. You're not trying to beat it, because we always will have imposter syndrome. We're just kind of working alongside of it. I feel like this will also get the momentum going. So like, you know how before you start something, it's like you procrastinate, and then once you just start it, like, then it's not that bad. Like, you get the ball rolling. I noticed that with a lot of my workouts. So if I need to work out, the hardest thing is actually like, I do like home workouts. So the hardest thing is like pressing play. And I always find that after the fact, it's easier to get through the workout. And then I'm proud that I did it and feel good about it. So I think by finally just like putting myself back out there again, it's going to get the ball rolling for future projects. And then the purpose. Why is this goal important? Reflect on the core motivations and deeper meaning behind pursuing this goal. This honestly is going to go back to about feeling fulfilled. Feeling fulfilled. Long term, I want to be doing the work that means something to me. I want to be doing the work that, brings in money, but not like, I'm not trying to be, that's important to know. I know I don't want to be like a crazy busy, always in the studio, like LA type of composer. That's one definition that I don't think matches my personality. I want to be able to work from home. I want to be able to work when I want to work. So how does this goal get to that point? I think it's the points of inspiration. So specifically, I want to land a gig for a project that inspires me. Right? The project has to inspire. It needs to lead. I mean, it all kind of circles back to feeling fulfilled, to fulfillment. Like, I know I'm repeating myself, but that's ultimately the first step, I think, to living a music career that I actually want. Map your route. Waypoints. Identify the critical waypoints or milestones along the way. Break down the journey into manageable segments. All right, so I will... what can I do? Let's say reach out to... Let's start out like 10 friends or acquaintances. Oh, come on. I can never do probably like customer service, like chat, where you have to type in real time. Acquaintances. Right? Something that is very true is that you probably know someone who knows someone. You probably went to school with like, the person that you would see in the hall but never actually spoke with, but maybe they're an old Facebook friend. You might be able to just reach out to them and be like, hey, I saw that you're working, in this field. Like, do you happen to know anyone that needs a composer? It's as simple as that, as reaching out. And, you never know. You just never know. There was actually somebody, once I made my video, there was somebody who reached out to me who was interested in a composer. It didn't really work out for me, at least, but I referenced some other composers that I know. And, I don't know if they're going to work together, but it's all about who you know, because you never know what opportunity comes up. And yeah, I think just reaching out to 10 friends or acquaintances will be a great first step. Maybe I could do that just in January. I want to post more on social media. you know, that I am available. That I'm available. Identify, what else can I do? Yeah, typing fast for chats is so hard. I can relate. Yeah, it's rough, especially when I have people watching. Break down the journey into manageable segments. What else can I do? You know, there's cold outreach. I guess technically, if no one replies or doesn't have any leads, then maybe I can do some cold outreach / emails. But that would mean looking up. Nope. Looking up maybe short films, communities, you know, YouTube channels, and really like getting into their work. Like, I don't want to just reach out to somebody because I see that they have a channel, but then like don't actually do the work. The whole point is doing stuff that's fulfilling. So I want to make sure I'm not just taking on work for the sake of taking on work, which I think is easy to do. Like, oh, there's an opportunity, I should just take it. I want to make sure I'm like vetting and really feeling inspired by this. That's the whole point of this goal. Yeah, and I don't know why I said and, but let's see. Time frame. Develop a timeline for each waypoint, ensuring a balanced pace that allows for reflection and adjustment. I think I could reach out in January. Let's do reach out. Post more on social media. Honestly, that seems like a Jan to Feb kind of thing. Post. Like, I feel like maybe I could make content that is about... Yeah, maybe I could start making content about like how I'm actively going about it. And maybe it could be like real time, you know? Ooh. Let me put that up. Come on. There we go. Hello. Happy New Year, everyone. Piano Man here, specializing in drama films. I love that. One, Happy New Year as well. I hope you enjoy. But also, I think it's important that we specialize in something. That is super an interesting point that you bring up. I think a lot of us want to... I think I'm digging way too deep into just a comment, but that also reminds me that like a lot of us need to specialize or focus on what we're really good at or what we enjoy. Because you're not the first person I heard that specializes in drama. I have a Cheska, who's part of the mastermind. She also says like she works and composes for drama. That's what she likes. It's fulfilling for her. You know, she's not going to do horror. She's not going to do thriller. It's like straight drama. So I love that. I love that you are specializing in that. Anyway, I think I can, what was I saying? Post content that is about my search. Maybe that could be helpful for people too. Would you in the chat, would you watch that? I feel like that could be kind of fun. I don't really know what I would do, but it doesn't need a plan either. What else is there? If no one replies, cold outreach. Okay, so I feel like by March, if I'm not anywhere on this goal, and again, it's just to land a gig, right? I feel like by March, I can start doing research into schools, you know, indie films, shows, games. Yeah, I feel like March is going to be a lot of, like, I don't want it to be like last minute. Oh, the goal is next week and I have to complete it, so I'm just going to reach out to a million people. I feel like I want March to be the start of like, all right, let me go one by one and really dive into their past work and really, you know, I think that might sound a little picky, a little, you know, but I think I want to be picky. I want to be picky about what I'm doing. So, yeah, that's fine. But mainly the idea is to research. And not just like read about them or look up like other types of highlight reel type stuff, but like if there's a game that like is interesting, I think I want to play it. That could lead into my other like side goal of wanting to play video games more. Like, what other smaller developers are there that are, you know, around that maybe I could play their game? Maybe I can reach out. Yeah, you know what? I don't want to forget games. I think in general we don't get enough about the daily struggles of being composers. It's something I've been thinking about too. That is a really good point. In general, I really want to be, you know, moving forward with the channel. I want to be way more open. I want to be way more transparent. That's the whole reason why I'm going on with these lives. I don't want to have to, you know, put on, not that I'm putting on a show, but like, I don't always want to just be an educator. I just want to teach through living, if that makes sense. Like, even if it means I'm struggling, because let me tell you, I'm struggling. Resources and allies. Ooh, that's a really good one too. Let me pop that on the screen real quick. My plan is to play games with the intention of learning their music. Ooh. So do you mean like discovering more, like newer music, you know, learning about it? Or do you mean like, no, I'm going to play the game and like actively learn, maybe create your own mock-ups, maybe learn how to play it on an instrument, or, you know, whatever it may be. Oh no, it was retracted. No, it's okay. Oops. Oh well. Let's see. We got a new one. I'm trying to say that, hey, I can do everything. And then what I did, nothing. One teacher of mine in university touched my heart when he told me, hey, why, you know, specializing in drama? And then you followed it. That's, honestly, it's, like we said, doing everything is fine in some cases, but you're not gonna, like, if you're trying to, you know, compete with everybody, there are going to be other people that might specialize in horror. There are going to be people that specialize in just like action or whatever. And it's kind of like niching down, but just like focusing on those skills that you know that you have and the thing that you actually enjoy. That's really where, like, why I love Strength so much, because it's about that reflection process. Let's see. Resources and allies. Determine what resources, tools, knowledge, etc., and allies, like peers or mentors, you need to support your journey. Obviously, Music Mastermind. I love my friends. Yeah, no. Seriously, these are the people that, like, I turn to because I know that we're going through very, very, very similar things, not just as composers or musicians, but also as content creators and people that we share a very similar mindset. We love the work. We love helping other people. So these are the people I'm going to turn to because I know that they have got my back. But tools and knowledge. I'm also going to refer back to ThinkSpace. If you don't know, I got my master's through ThinkSpace in orchestration for, films, TVs, games. That was 6 years ago. I graduated in the beginning of 2020. So basically 6 years ago. The great thing about ThinkSpace, and also now that I'm instructor for the boot camp, is there are a whole set of people that I can turn to. The master's degree students, still have access to all the course material, not just the degree that I did, but every other course that they offer, degree or otherwise. So, it's a lot, and I don't want to be overwhelmed. I don't want to be overwhelmed by the amount of information that's out there, because then you get stuck and you don't do anything. But I should really focus on what I want with this goal. So maybe I think there's like a music business degree that could be interesting to start. I feel comfortable with my composing itself, but I think there's some modules and stuff about like actually finding the work. So maybe I could use that as a tool and resource. But I also think they also have a Discord group for master students and like alumni and everything that I can reach out to and kind of be like, hey, not even looking for work. I'm not going into a Discord group to just be like, hey, anyone have any work? Because everyone's there. Everyone who's there is a composer, probably looking for work as well. And if I'm not active in that group, I don't think I have the right to just be like, hey, give me work. That's not right. But I think what I want is to feel like I'm part of a community of people that went through a similar experience, and that would be going through the masters. And even if that doesn't lead to work, I think that touches on another goal that I have, and it's just like connecting with people. That's a whole other, I think, Quarterly Odyssey that I had in mind that I won't do today, but let's see. Francisco, what do you got? Let me pull this up. We say, I think it's challenging to approach online communities when seeking support or resources because everyone is in different places. That is true. And I think that also kind of relates to like online learning. I think the hardest part is managing what that looks like. So for example, like I know John, you're in Tokyo, right? So like our lives aren't going to line up because you're living in the future. And like what's day for you is night for me and vice versa. So like what's hard is finding that overlap, but I think it's worth it when we find the people that we resonate with. So for example, the Music Mastermind group, we went on that Montana trip. Everyone there is 3 hours behind me. They're out in California. I'm in New York. And Montana is somewhere in the middle. It's 2 hours behind me, 1 hour ahead, or I don't know. I don't know how time zones work, but, I made it a point that like, all right, so this weekend, I know that it's going to be hard for my sleep schedule, but we're going to try and get together and do something together that works for all of us. Dinner time is this is such a random example, and maybe not the best one, but it's like, another example, the same mastermind group, we meet once a month at every Friday, or every last Friday of the month. And, you know, we were doing a 4 o'clock, I don't know, 4 o'clock my time, 1 o'clock their time meeting. And that was good for a little bit, but then it interfered with their one person's lunch. 4 o'clock, these were like 3-hour meetings, so it led to like a 7 o'clock thing on a Friday night. So it was hard, because then I'm like missing dinner. So what we're doing is we're gonna try a earlier time. So I think, like, I actually forgot the time that we said, maybe like a 2 o'clock kind of thing. That way it's more like their morning, my afternoon. I still feel like I'm working in my weekday. None of this actually, I feel like, is as specific towards the comment, but I do feel like we just have to like work around. Oop, I'm clicking all the wrong buttons. I'm so sorry. Yeah, but point is, I understand what you mean. It can be difficult, but if it means something and it means a lot to you, it can be worth it. Anticipate terrain. Predict potential challenges and rough terrains. Plan strategies to navigate or overcome these obstacles. This is the hard part about goal setting. This is the part of goal setting that we don't like to think about. When we say, oh, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to, reach out to X amount of clients, and I'm going, what's going to happen? What happens when no one replies back to you? Did you plan for that? What happens on, the second week of your workout begins and your body is entirely sore? Like, so much so that you're like, I physically can't bring myself to the gym. What are you going to do? Instead of letting it go, there are solutions. I don't know if they're the right solutions, but let's see. If no one replies back, that's upsetting, right? If no one replies back, or no one has any leads, I'm going to say, I'll stick to a schedule of creating content that lets people know I'm available. Available. What I also might do is, and this is another quarterly goal, so everything's going to relate back to each other, because I still want to feel active in music, because I still want to feel like I'm working towards something and not just, typing and reaching out. And, I'm going to write music for myself. There it is. That's the solution. Keep composing. Write music for myself. Keep composing. And share that process. I truly, truly believe that if I'm actively sharing what I'm working on and sharing the struggles and sharing this and that, and still reaching out. So even if the April 1st comes, I think this is a big enough goal that I can even start it again. Come quarter 2, I want to still reach out to people. Maybe a new set, maybe check in again with someone that didn't have, maybe I reached out to somebody in January and they didn't have, they didn't know anyone, but likely they're not gonna always, come March, they might not be thinking about me. I could reach out again and say, hey, just wanted to check in again. Assuming that they are okay with, that. I don't want to be like, hey, you know anyone? Hey, you know anyone? Hey, like, I don't want to do that. But maybe in that initial reach out, I could say, Would it be okay if I check in with you again? It's very possible that they aren't in that mindset when you initially reach out, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to be in that mindset if you reach out again. So, again, keep reaching out while still sharing my process. What other challenges? Follow evangelist's path. Absolutely. What was I saying? What other challenges might pop up? This one is possible, but I feel like I'm actively trying to overcome it. What if imposter syndrome takes over? Keeps me procrastinated. I want, again, this is not just for me to promote the accelerator, but literally I updated this goal thing this past week, and I've attended quite a few goal setting workshops because I want to be surrounded by productivity, not hyper productivity, where you're not getting any work done just to be productive, quote unquote. I want to reflect. Let me go back to the page. Where is it? This is designed in a way on purpose, I did my yearly review so I could reflect on this past year and remind myself why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. My long-term goals, I'm going to add more to this. I want this to be like a vision board. I might even change some of these images. Quarterly quests, again, only 2 to 3. But you see how this funnels down? Weekly reviews. I'm going to create a weekly review where I look back at the 12 weeks in the quarter and see, what went well, what didn't go well, what can I change next week. And I want to make sure I'm journaling daily. Day-to-day focus and these are the tasks I'm going to do today. And I feel like with an actual system in place, my quarterly goal isn't going to be so difficult. What if imposter syndrome takes over, keeps me procrastinated? Reread the letter to myself, right? Rely on friends and mentors and peers. I'm in a lucky situation where because I create content and because I offer, free things, paid things, teachings, I've had people leave incredible comments and testimonials and send in emails. I can reread testimonials. Sometimes it's okay to reflect on what people have said to you. I'm terrible at getting, what's the word? Not advice, compliments. I'm terrible at receiving them. I don't, it makes me, I'm oh yeah, thank you so much. I'm just really bad at accepting them because, I feel like I could do better or whatever. But these are what, a lot of the testimonials and emails or whatever, it's what people have found useful, and it's nice knowing that I can help people. So when I'm in that moment of imposter syndrome, you're not good at composing. Okay, well, it's okay because I still have helped people and I can keep working on my skills. I can keep refining the craft. And that kind of relates back to keep writing, so I don't rewrite it. But yeah, so I feel like, those are some pretty big challenges that likely will come up. And I feel like these are from first steps to get me through the tough or rough terrain. Let's see. Nice to hear about your life and skills beyond being a bootcamp mentor. Thank you. Yes, honestly, the bootcamp is roughly a year old for me, and I love it, love it. But I do other things, you know? And like I said, a big part is like composer strengths. A big part is just like more the career aspect. I love talking about, you know, not necessarily finding work, but like what success looks like. Because like, to me, success does not look like living in LA, working from job to job with an agent. And like, that's not what I want. I want to work with creators. You know, I want to work on my time. It's a very specific goal, I guess, but you know, maybe not everyone wants that. Maybe people want to live in LA and, you know, that's what they consider to be a successful composer, but not for me personally, you know? But I love talking about that, even if it is your goal, you know? Or maybe you're a composer, but you want to write theater. Man, one of my dreams is to write a musical. I don't know how, I don't know, but I'm in New York, you know? And I feel like I have that advantage to work with people. I know, one of my friends is actually a director for a company that I believe he started. Hello, why don't I reach out to him? Where can I put that? Hello. Reach out to NYC friends. There we go. Yeah, if I want to do a musical as well, that could be fun. Anyway, now let's move on to routine. What's the execution plan? We got Oswaldo. Hello. Welcome to the stream. It's really cool. I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat today, which really means a lot. Daily rituals. What regular activities will drive you towards your objective? Identify daily or weekly practices that will... Right there. Daily folk... Did I do something wrong? Come on. I hope I didn't, like, cancel the stream or something. Daily focus pages. Ooh, an animated musical, John. That's awesome. Yeah, there's just something really, really fun about musicals. I am a theater kid at heart. Actually, I'm not. I just did theater in high school, but like, I don't know too many musicals, but like, I love the theater. And that's where like a lot of my music's background comes in. Like, I'm a singer. I did choir. I did all that stuff. So I love it. My daily ritual, let's put you on the screen, Francisco. My daily ritual for 2025 is to clean up the workspace and listen to inspire. Yes. This is, let me show you. This is not part of anything we've talked about today, but, I'll go to notes. I'll go to focus logs, and a focus log is basically, a way I do time tracking. But let me show you one of the things. Basically, it's an hour block of time dedicated to maximizing your focus. Let me make sure you can see that. On the things that matter to you. And the first 5 minutes of every focus session is spend 5 minutes tidying up your workspace, close out your tabs, prep yourself for the hour. And it's crazy because like I didn't actually think this was like helpful before doing it, but just taking 5 minutes to like, all right, you know what? I don't need my insurance card on my desk. I don't need my 2 remotes for the monitor and the light. You know, I don't, you know, tidy up, get the pen out of here. You know, I actually have a candle. I have a candle here, and that creates the atmosphere I want to be in. You know, do the little things to tidy up the space. And while you do that, I also, man, I'm just showing off, where is it? I'm showing off the template, but as I do that, I also keep like usually it's some lo-fi in the background, sometimes jazz. I really enjoy like orchestral fantasy music. There's an entire Spotify playlist on here. Of course, you can just go on YouTube as well. I just put these in because I like it. Yeah, do the things that get you inspired. Let's see, what else? Yeah, nice candles. It's honestly game changer. I just started doing it, and now I am buying a ton of candles. One of them is from Cantrip Candles, which is like a D&D specific company, or you know, more role playing tabletop kind of game. And they create candles that really go well with like, oh, the forest or mountains or something like that, and I love it. I love it. So I'm going to do my daily focus pages. I'm going to track my time. That way I know exactly how much time I'm dedicating to these activities. And let's see. I mean, like, it's very obvious, but my weekly reviews. We'll quickly look at that. We won't do one because obviously the week hasn't gone by, but these are the things that I want to like. These are the part of the system that are easy to overlook. Part of me even wants to host maybe some live streams where I just do work. Kind of like a co-working, come on, spell correctly, please. Kind of like co-working sessions. So like, maybe that'll be like a, you know, YouTube membership type thing where I just do dedicated streams or something. I don't know, something to think about. But that could be fun. Just to not only keep myself, like focused on my own goals, but also, you know, if you're also working on your goal, maybe we could do live streams or even Zoom chats or something where we're like in the same room, but like kind of working on our own thing. I think that could be kind of cool. Dark academia for me. I want to make sure I'm getting everybody's comments. And then we got, I've always wanted to smell those candles. Yeah, I got one. The one I have here isn't Cantrip Candles, but I got one in the living room that is like Yule. It's called Yule, and it's like firewood and cinnamon, and it honestly really, really fits the whole New Year's Eve kind of vibe. Let's see. I am almost done. Checkpoints. How will you track your progress? Set up regular checkpoints to assess progress, recalibrate your approach, and stay accountable. Honestly, this feels so. Honestly, the routine is a little bit repetitive, but the weekly review. Let me go into it. I won't. Side note, when you create, it automatically creates a dynamic date. So right now it says today because it's the 31st, but come tomorrow, this exact note will say yesterday, you know? In the weekly review, there's like goal alignment, reflection, and organization. So I think one of the most important parts is this goal alignment aspect where you are always reflecting back on the long-term goal, and assuming you have roughly 2 to 3 quarterly odysseys, you reflect on those odysseys, and you can kind of look back and say, all right, these are the things that I did that attribute to both of those goals or types of goals, and these are the things that I did that maybe I shouldn't have or aren't really attributing to anything. And how can I cut back on that? And I feel like, go back. I feel like doing these to track my progress is the most important. So I'll say, goal alignment. And I'll say long-term and quarterly. That feels right. And then we have the flexibility kit. And this is basically like, how will you adapt to changes? Develop a strategy to remain flexible and adapt to any unexpected shifts or setbacks. Before I do that, I forgot that I actually have coffee, iced coffee I was meant to drink, and it's watered down. So before it gets any worse, watered down coffee. What I feel like this can probably relate a bit to. Oh no! I keep forgetting. Oh no, we're good. I thought I was on full screen. This can relate to the terrain, right? So, how will I adapt to changes? Let's say, what if I get multiple projects? I'm assuming that I won't get any, but what if... How will I stay on track? Can I be more selective? Can I reflect on the Gosh, I am terrible at writing. That mean the most to me? Can I evaluate how much work feels right? The last thing I want to do is feel overworked. So how will you adapt to changes, right? I feel like the big one, it's okay to say no, right? It's okay to say no. I have a problem sometimes with always saying yes or jumping on the first project that comes, but it's always, I can feel flexible in what I take on and the work that I do, but I don't think I want to be flexible in the long-term goals. That's the guiding compass. Unless something drastically changes in my values, in how I view life, which I don't necessarily think will happen, but how can I change what I'm doing kind of in the near term, in the short term, that still falls in line with the guiding compass? And I think it's okay to say no. So that is the Quarterly Odyssey. What I'm going to do, not in the stream, but that's the professional Quarterly Odyssey. I think another one I want to do is write music for myself, right? I think I would like to just write. And one of the things that I have in mind, again, if you are interested in the Notion template, one of the things that I offer, and I actually use this, is the genre challenges. Basically, there are 8 different, genres, what's the word? I call them recipes. This is basically my film composer recipe book built into the template. But not stereotypes. They are stereotypes. They're cliche. They are a template, essentially, for what heroic action music sounds like or horror music sounds like. And basically, it's just a way for me to, weekly. This week is going to be... Actually, I don't know what this week is going to be. But this week is going to be heroic action. And I spend the week and I write a piece that sounds like it could be in a superhero movie. Next week would be positive emotion. Maybe I write a love theme or something like that. The week after that is horror, and I really focus on writing really creepy atonal kind of sounds. And I think that will help me get on track with just writing music for myself in styles that match, film, TV, and games. It can help me sharpen my skills. So that will be another Quarterly Odyssey. And then another one, I think, will be to continue practicing the piano. I got that, and I forgot a lot of the things that I learned when I was in taking a piano class before, but I feel like since starting to practice again, it's all coming back. So that could be another Quarterly Odyssey, and those will be the 3. And then let me just show you the weekly reviews, because we're basically done, but let me open up. So every Friday, maybe Sunday, I don't know. Friday feels more like a final, end of the week kind of thing, but Sunday is also technically the start of the week. So maybe every Friday. I could even automate this so that it populates every Friday at noon or whatever, or I can just set a reminder in my tasks and projects calendar to fill this out. But weekly reviews aren't goals, but they are essential tools for keeping yourself on track. They help you stay aligned with long-term goals and Quarterly Odysseys by reviewing what worked, what didn't, where you need to adjust. Reflect at the end of each week to recalibrate the plan for the following week. These help ensure consistent progress without getting off course. And again, this goes back to goal alignment, your long-term goals and your Quarterly Odysseys. Reflect what were some great things that happened last week, and what were last week's challenges? What actions didn't align with your weekly intentions, and what would you like to adjust for next week? And then organization. Look ahead to the next 2 weeks. Are there any events to schedule or tasks to add to your to-do list? I'm a big believer in the calendar. I'm a big believer in not necessarily to-do lists themselves, but organizing your week into the tasks that are important, the things that actually have to get done. I'm big on the 80-20 principle, right? 80% of the results come from your top 20% of effort. And then what are the 3 outcomes for the upcoming week? If next week were to be great, what would that look like? And then add it to the template. Make sure you get that in. Otherwise, you're going to forget about it. So that is a weekly review that I will probably do on Friday this week. And then we have daily focus, which I showed you, right? I think I showed, yeah. Right? These are just the check marks that you can check off every single day. I filled this out earlier. What I actually like about my daily focus is that the tasks for the week will show up here. And I actually did double check filter. This is a Notion template thing. I did that this morning, so I can actually finish that up. I logged my time in, doing this for today, and I related it to itself. There was, and then we'll go into side quests, and we're not going to create one, but oh, I accidentally created one. I just want you to see what you can also do with a side quest. It doesn't want to open. It's okay. Full page. And we'll let this load in. And so typically you'll see that a priority is often set to low because side quests are not the top priority. These are nice to have optional goals that are fun, interesting, or useful to keep track of, but not necessarily urgent or high priority. They provide flexibility and creativity in your planning. They are general and low stakes, but they can evolve into a Quarterly Odyssey if they become more relevant or important enough. So actually, let's say my side quest is... This one isn't important, but I think it's fun. Play more video games. Low priority. Let's say I want this just to be a 2025 thing. No quarter. Technically accomplished date could be December 31st, 2025, 52 weeks left. Anything on here? Honestly, I'm gonna create an area that's like personal or like fun or something. I don't know yet, but I might add that to that area. I don't know if it has any goals related to it. Composing, feel financially free, feel confident. No. Okay, so I won't connect it to any goals. Habits, I might have to create some habits. All right, so that's that. And because I'm a crazy person and I do like to optimize, let's say play more video games becomes more important to me, or like it becomes more about making time for myself, you know? I created a button that turns this into a Quarterly Odyssey. Let me open up the settings real quick. Basically, it's going to create a page where a new page where the name of this is Play More Video Games. It's going to create a new Quarterly Odyssey with the same name, Play More Video Games. It's going to open that page, and it's then going to edit this page as archived. So it's not necessarily turning it into so much as like duplicating it into another goal, but once this becomes archived, it's basically out of sight throughout the whole template, and then we can focus it on as a Quarterly Odyssey. So that might seem confusing, but let me go back to our goals and habits, right? Oh, look, play more video games, and I can create a list of things that I want. And Quarterly Odyssey, oh, I only have the one. Okay, what if I want it to, you know what? I think it is important that I play more video games. I'm going to turn that into my Quarterly Odyssey. Now, you know what? It's not high, but it is medium. It is 2025, and I want it to be quarter one as well. And that means, you know what? It's not going to be the 31st anymore. It's going to be April 1st. And that's going to give me 12 weeks left. And, you know, so now I can fill this out and actually, you know, fill it out. Like, what's the actual vision behind this? It's making time for myself, doing things that are outside of just music or just work, you know, and I can fill that out. And no longer is it a side quest, because that one was archived, and it becomes a Quarterly Odyssey. I'm a crazy person, and I don't know why I went so hard with that, but this is also the stuff that's fun for me. Let me see. John, you sent in, let's see. I think the fact that you created a way for self-accountability is so helpful. I'm glad you're breaking it down. Yeah, honestly, that's why literally Zach called this like the self-paced productivity system or something, like, and that's what it is. Like, this is you know, it's not a replacement for a person or like a mentor or continued mentorship or anything like that, but it is a way to at least start, you know, and not just set a list of goals, but actually define them. Kevin, Notion itself as a platform is free. This template is not, because I went crazy with it and have so much poured into it, so much heart poured into it. But Notion as a template, or Notion as a website, is free. It is important to note that like this template itself is not a software. So like updating it, I'm updating like the live page. I'm not necessarily updating once you duplicate it into your personal account. So that's something to keep in mind. It's not a piece of software. But man, this is just the goal planning section, you know? That's all we looked at. Yeah, you can make whatever. Notion is like the greatest. It's literally just like a text-based platform that allows you to create charts and input data and link things, and and people just get really creative with how they use it. So if you create your own template, it's wild what you can do. But yeah, so let me just, because that's it. But like, this is the dashboard. You could check out your tasks and projects, like reminders, areas and resources. I also have a place for courses that is, I think I'm going to do a lot of like ThinkSpace stuff. Any other productivity courses I have, I'll add in there. Notes, you have quick notes, recent, daily focus. We have your genre challenges will come up. I wonder what, did I delete? I might have deleted one. Cause usually there's always one here for the week. Contacts, if you want to reconnect with somebody. So for example, one of my goals was to reach out to people. I might put them as a contact. I might say the frequency of when I want to contact them, and it'll come up, a month has passed, you should reconnect with them, and then I could do so. I have some quick buttons, new project, new note, new idea, new contact, new side quest, quarterly, whatever. I might actually change this view up a little bit because it combines my goals. I might do similar to what we had before. If it's somebody's birthday, it'll let you know. And it's just so much that we can do in this thing. And yeah, other than that, I feel very confident in how to get work in the coming year. We did our review, we did some quarterly stuff. And I think what I'm going to do is just to hold myself accountable. I think I do want to start making some content that is about this process. Maybe that can help. We'll see. And if I fail at it, or, quote unquote fail, or I don't get the work that I thought I might, I'll let you know too. And maybe come the next quarter, I'll reflect on what worked, what didn't work. Yeah, it's a work in progress. We are all works in progress. Just remember that you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. You need a system in place. Otherwise, these goals that we set in for, 2025, January 1st rolls around, they're not going to, they fall to the wayside by January 15th, February 1st. They don't feel as important, as prominent. But if you keep these long-term goals and remember why you're doing things, I think we have a system in place, daily, weekly, quarterly, long-term, to focus on what matters most. So that's what I got. Again, if you want this template, it's linked down in the description. I hope everyone has a happy new year. I want to say, I'm just taking a look at the chat real quick before we say our goodbyes. But Kevin, I'm so happy that I discovered your channel this year. Dude, I'm happy you discovered it. I hope it's been helpful. We're going to go live with some more template making videos for Logic. Probably in the next week or two. I'm going to keep building up that Museo template. John, I'll definitely let you know how the template is doing for me. Yeah, for sure. Because, I want to make sure that this is actually useful. It's useful for I want to make sure it's useful for me and hopefully useful for other people, if I'm not using it the way I should be, or I'm like, I don't know, then if I'm not using it the way I want to be using it, then, I can remove things. I can add something. I could change something. The whole point is to make sure it's actually a useful thing. And then we got, thank you. Happy New Year. Yeah. Happy New Year to everyone. Oh, whoops. Great to see an example of a concrete accountability system. Yeah, this is, and I don't want to say like it's perfect and this is like the number one way to, hold yourself accountable, because I genuinely think that like long-term mentorship and like connection and social, I think that is the best way to hold accountability, because I think it's easy for us to make, what's the word? Not distractions, excuses. That's an easy word. But like, I feel like this is a step in the right direction. Yeah. So again, Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you have found some value in this. I had a ton of fun. I might go live next quarter as well, specifically for this. I might do a weekly review one time, who knows? But thank you for being here and have a Happy New Year. Oh, and as always, happy composing.